So, the moment has finally arrived, the finale of building an Imperial Dockyard. Now, I'm just going to say it before this video begins, how much of a wonderful journey it's been building this MOC. Like, sure, I was skeptical of starting it first, but it's really come a long way, and it's really tested me as a MOC builder. And I've done things in this MOC which I don't usually do in my MOCs, and yeah, it just really helped out a bunch. So you guys are probably here to see what is in this MOC, what details, what figures, what all that kind of stuff is in this MOC. So without further ado, let's dive in, and I'll show you all the features. Now, obviously, the main focus of this build was including this Prey-scale Star Destroyer from 2024. Fun fact, this was my first Star Destroyer set, even though I did have some mini ones before, but they were mini sets. So the whole idea came about when I got this set for Christmas. I'm thinking, I want to include this in a MOC in some way. I want to, really make something that pops off, something that's unique from anything else I've seen on the internet. And this was my take. As you can see here, we've got some mini ships from the advent calendars and Mega Stars magazines from the past. Maybe just advent calendars, but there's a mix in there of both. And also we've got some details down here, like some fueling tanks, some other stuff that just adds to the whole dockyard theme. Now, this dockyard isn't really inspired by anything. It's kind of just something that my mind just came up with one night when I was sweeping. But what am I to say? It's just funny that my mind was able to come up with something that is so amazing. This is great. Now, the feature which I included in this section is this turret which can move thanks to its spinning features. Now, this turret, right, comes from a battle pack. I think it was a first order battle pack from 2015, 2016, and I had it running around and I'm thinking, this is going to go perfectly with what I have going on in this section. So I was like, yeah, but I'm going to use it, and it's really going to make a difference. So obviously this ship has an interior. Now there's nothing in the interior besides some stuff you'd expect from the set. So nothing's really changed there. It's kind of just standing on two transparent window pieces, and it's also got these structures supporting it. Well, supporting it in quotation marks. It's not really supporting it, it's maybe just the transparent pieces, like I said. Now, these platforms are just platforms. This one here has got a U-wing, this one's got a shuttle. Now, these white tiles represent stormtroopers, which I think is a very unique detail, or quite an interesting detail, I should say. Now, this platform has nothing on it, this platform has nothing on it, but it's supporting this Imperial Light Cruiser, which I thought was nice. And I also wanted to add some of my mini-scale vehicles to this build, like I said, and I think that's one of the main takeaways of this entire section, along with the ship. Now, let's move on to the main section, the base. Right, I've decided to move out the camera a little because I want to, get these panels off and show you all the details. So when I snap my fingers, the panels will come off. Right, so the panels have been removed. I know the editing's probably going to be a bit shit on that one, but yeah, let me just show you the inside. So this is the first section, maybe just a command area and barracks, which I'll get into in a minute. So this command section, it's one of the very first rooms that I made in this build. It's got these two Imperial, I don't even know what they are, I just got them from like one of the old throne room sets because I thought they looked cool, and they kind of remind me of one of the like Battlefront 2015 maps, and yeah, that's what I got for that bit. We've also got a few panels and a few like controls around the like side of the build. We've also got the Death Star plans. Now, timeline wise, where this battle takes place, I'd say it takes place before the events of Rogue One, like, so Jedi Survivor Kenobi time, but that, I maybe just leave that up to the interpretations of the audience and the people who are watching my videos, and of course myself. But if you guys have any, ideas of when this MOC should be set, comment below, because I'm all for a little suggestion. Now, this horror table, I've reused this horror table so much in previous MOCs. If you can cast your mind back to when I did building a crewing base on Naboo, some of you may remember this horror table if you've stuck around on the channel this long. But anyway, I usually reuse some stuff and builds in my MOCs anyway, so it's not really a problem. And as for the minifigures, we've got 2 Dark Troopers guarding the door, we got a Inferno Squad Trooper, we got 2 Imperial officers, got this guy, which you may recognise from one of my previous MOCs, and these windows, which when the roof's on you can see inside, but I do warn you, it's quite dark. Right, moving on, we've got the barracks. Now, the barracks, this is a pretty generic room. We've got 2 stormtroopers, one of them's being beaten at hollow chests by a gunk droid. We've got a stand with like drinks and pizza, because pizza's in Star Wars. I don't know, maybe it is. We've got a machine, we've got an armory, we've got a detonator table, which I reused from my Tatooine MOC. We've got a weapon, we got a gun rack, we got a helmet stand, and we just got some Imperials just going about their business. Right, let's move on to the second interior space. But before we do that, this is the loading bay. Now, the loading bay has been through a lot of changes. Some may say it's been through more changes than anything else in this entire build. So, what we got here is a transport with Wookiees inside, because this is Kashyyyk. Now, the funny thing is, I wanted this to originally just be a unnamed planet MOC, but I was like, I do have a few Wookiees, and I suspiciously only have 1 Ewok in my collection, regardless, not including the one that's in my figure case, but that's a story for another time. Anyway, I was like, I might as well just put these Wookiees to good use, and I already used them in my Tatooine MOC, so I was like, yeah, I just do a Kashyyyk MOC. What's the worst that could happen? And here we are. We've got some Wookiees being taken prisoner to work for the Empire. Now, if you guys have played Jedi Fallen Order, some of you might have, some of you might have not. I don't know if this is going to be like a major spoiler or something. You guys have had like 5 years to play the game anyway, or 6 years maybe, I don't know. Going on 6 years this year, but yeah. Wookiees are taken hostage by the Empire, and slavery happens, which isn't really good. But you eventually free them from the refinery, and yeah. Right, moving on. We've got some droids. We got this one here. Well, I say droids, even though it's just the one, unless you count the super commandos, which you can see behind them. Right, we've also got a cart with missiles on it from the TIE bomber set. We got some TIE fighter pilots or Imperial pilots. This one's the captain because you can tell by his markings, if you can see him. Yeah, his markings, he is the top dog, he is the boss, he, is the squadron leader, which, yeah, that's his position. Right, moving on, we've got an Imperial ground crew member. I don't know if that's their actual name, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to call it that. Now, these guys appeared in Rogue One, on Scariff, and basically what their job is, it's going to be a really exciting fact. They do stuff with air traffic, which is what people, they just do stuff with air traffic. Right, let's move on to the second interior. Not to mention, we've also got a turbo lift which goes to nowhere, but if you use your imagination, you can decide where its destination might lead. Moving on, we've got the second interior. Now I'm just gonna rotate myself around the table real quick to show you the interior. Now we've got the main control area, which basically these people are in charge of fueling the Star Destroyer, fueling the additional craft that are around it, and yeah, they're just a bunch of maintenance crew just doing their job, and trying to make sure the Star Destroyer doesn't get hijacked, which is the rebels' main goal of this MOC, this battle even. Right, here we are. We've got this is kind of like a corridor or hallway. It's not really a corridor, it's more of another random room. We've got this control panel, we've got this ray shield from the Justifier, we've got these two droids just doing something on a panel. Not really sure what they're doing, but they're doing something. We've got an Ewok, we've got a Stormtrooper, we've got a Rebel Pirate. Now, the reason why this Ewok is here is a bit of an inside joke, as I originally wanted this to be an Endor MOC. No. Endor was originally going to be one of the themes of this MOC, but I was like, no, I only have one Ewok, and besides it's just not going to be that fair. So Ewok's there. He might have got confused, thought Kashyyyk was Endor, and now he's there. So yeah, funny story. Right, here we are. We've got the brig, or the prison, depends what you like to call it. Now, originally I was going to include more prisoners in here, but I just included these two. So we've got an Imperial deserter, so someone who's betrayed the Empire and it's like, nah, I don't want the Empire, screw them, and is now sitting in prison, waiting to be questioned. We've also got an Akbar trooper, who is here because Rebuild the Galaxy happened, and now he's just sitting there, waiting, being a chill guy. Right. With that being said, let's move on to the main battle. Here we are, guys, the main battle. I'm just gonna zoom out the camera. Right, now this battle is divided into not one, not two, but 3 different sections. Let me just focus in. Right, so this is one of the main trenches. It's not really a trench, but it's kind of a barricade wall thingamajig. Something that the mind cooked up again. Right, so here's a custom Imperial infantry trooper, inspired by the ones you see in the Battle of Mimban from Solo, a Star Wars story. Underrated film, but it's not good, and it's not. It's good, but it's not great. Well, the film is anyway. Right, got another gag here. We've got a Stormtrooper eating popcorn out of someone else's helmet. This trooper probably died in the explosion over there, but we'll get into that in a minute. Then we've got an Imperial heavy trooper. I think that they're from the Mandalorian, so I don't really know their name. Right, here's an E-Web cannon. Now, if you know my history of E-Web cannons, you know that in the game Star Wars Hunters. So I'm so sad to hear that game shutting down this year, but happens to the best of Star Wars games, I guess, and just games in general. Now, I'm an E-Web god. If you see me in Star Wars Hunters, you already know that you're about to meet your end at the sight of one of these bad boys. Right, enough of me rambling about Star Wars Hunters. Let's move on to the next bit. This is a scene that kind of links to what's going on in the prison. So this Imperial has just been exposed, yes, exposed, for being a traitor to the Empire. He's been caught by this guy right here, the lieutenant, who's like, yep, this guy's not behaving, he's doing everything wrong in the Empire, and he might be a traitor. So this sand trooper, even though it's Kashyyyk. It's taking them away, and we'll probably throw him in the prison with the rest of them. And this guy's just there to make sure he doesn't try anything. Right, let's move on to the next section here. This is kind of a landing pad area. Yeah, this is where my brain had a big fart and was like, what should you do here? And then I was like, landing pad. And my brain was like, yeah, cool, yeah, landing pad. Right, we've got some prisoners. Well, a prisoner. We've got a Mandalorian being found. Now, he's been wanted by the Empire. You can't really see that hologram, but it's from the Armory set from the Mandalorian first season, which is a good set. Had to use it for parts, but all in all, it's a pretty good set. Now, I reused these super commandos over here in the landing bay, so when they were interrogating a separatist reader, anyway. And I just went super commandos. I think their designs are just very spot on, even though the Mandalorian third season wasn't that great. These figures are still quite cool. And same can be said over here. I've got 3 of them handing a suspicious item over to this Imperial officer and his 2 shadow troopers from a battle pack. We've also got a Pro Droid who's scanning its contents to make sure it's okay for them to carry on with doing whatever. We've also got Darth Vader pulling up to the base. He's saying what's up. We've also got some royal guards standing by him. I was going to put Darth Vader and the Emperor here, but I was like, I don't have any Emperors. The only one I have is in the diorama throne room set, and I wasn't really going to use them, so I just opted in to use Darth Vader instead. Got some Death Troopers here, being accompanied by Agent Callus. Then we've got a droid. It's not really a droid, it's more of a robot from the Nexo Knights series of sets that Lego produced. I miss those sets, as well as I miss old school Ninjago, but that's a topic for another time. We have a box or a tray full of timber, as this is a forest planet. We've got the main landing pad, we've got an Ugnaught, we've got a droid, we've got, yeah, just a bunch of cargo. Now, this shuttle was from 2021 or 2020. Now, the 2016 one is a very highly desired set of mine. Now, I obviously don't have the money for it, so I opted to use this one instead, and I feel like it doesn't make much of a difference to if I had the 2016 version. Right, let's move on to the main battle. Here we are, guys, the main battle. Now, this has been through a lot of change over the last couple of months, weeks even. Now, when we go over everything that's taking place though, we've got some troopers coming from this angle, we've got troopers coming from this angle, we've got some rebels coming from this direction, some rebel jetpack troopers coming from this section. Sorry, I just burped. Excuse me. Then we've got a dropship. Now, I did have to get the Imperial dropship versus Scout Speeder set, because I wanted to include it in the MOC, and I just thought it fitted nicely. And we've also got these 2 frame troopers. I know they're snow troopers, but in Jedi Fallen Order they are, well, frame troopers and Survivor 2. But just roasting this guy. This guy's got a hot dog because he's feeling a tad bit peckish, and yeah, they're just doing that. We've also got an AT-AT. Now, I was debating including this into the MOC, but after some thinking, I was like, this is going to be a good addition because I want to include as many Imperial vehicles and things as possible. As for the rebels, we've got the Scout Speeder, we've got Princess Leia, Captain Antilles, we got a Calamarian pilot, a Mon-Calamarian pilot, we got a rebel trooper, we got a few rebels, we got this guy who's manning a cannon, trying to take down those rebel scum, we've got a blasted up cannon, which was probably destroyed by the tank. That's a little story I've got going on there. As you can see, there's fire, there's a body, there's a helmet, and yeah, that's kind of the story I have going on there. There's also some foliage, there's some rock details, there's these trees, which were made by my sister, so all credit goes to her. And yeah, I've also got a few more trees over there, but we'll get onto that section in a minute. And we've got a crashed speeder bike, destroyed by the cannon probably. And we've got this marauder. Now, this officer wants these goods taken as quick as possible to a safe location. Meanwhile, this Rhodian is like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing, and wants to blow up the marauder, along with all the crew that are still left inside. And as for the battle, that pretty much does it. Let's move on to the final section. The forest. Well, it's not really a forest, it's more like trees and yeah. Right, here's the forest. Don't really know what to do with this section. And it's probably going to stay that way until this MOC series. I mean, this is the finale after all, so it's probably going to be over. And I'm probably going to reuse these trees again, but that's to be debated. We've got these two rebels taking down a stormtrooper with a knife. So these are like headhunters, and they're taking down stormtroopers using lethal action. We've got these trees again, arranged in a circle. Mini kit, shout out to Lego Stars to complete Saga, or just any Lego game in general. Mini kits are an absolute blessing. We've got a Clone Wars helmet. We've got Cowcasters. This is my custom Jedi Survivor minifigure. I do have the one from the Star Destroyer. That's sitting in my case right now. And I was like, I'm just going to use a custom one because I don't want to get the official one out, because I lose it when this MOC gets destroyed. We've got a custom Purge Trooper, which just is a Dark Trooper with a retro staff. Not really much effort put in there. We've got a Riot Scout Trooper. Again, another custom with a shoulder pauldron, shield, and a Redrick staff. We've got a corpse, which is being chowed down upon by spiders, because spiders are just on Kashyyyk. But we've got some more trees, like I mentioned earlier, and some grass and some rock work. Now, that pretty much does it for the entire build. What I'm going to build next, that's yet to be decided, as I've got a lot of stuff going on in my life at the moment, like starting to school, and I'm also feeling a bit under the weather at the moment. I've got cold, so that's probably why my voice sounds a bit shit in this video. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this finale. I had a lot of fun recording it, and I'm sure I'm gonna have a lot of fun editing it later, or whenever I edit it. So yeah, thank you all for watching. If you went on to enjoy today's video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.